Hi guys, it's Clarice and welcome to another watercolor floral video tutorial with me. If you're new to my channel, I put out weekly video tutorials mainly of flowers and such. So if you like loose watercolor of this theme, please feel free to check out the rest of my channel and check out the other tutorials. But in the meantime, for today, we are starting off with a simple video tutorial on how to do asters. I'm trying to find florals that are kind of fall-like in nature, and so trying to hype up the fall season for you guys. So hope you guys find this exciting and easy to do, and so let's get started right away. Really quickly, supplies. I am using, for brushes, I'm using the Rigger #2 Filbert #6 by Princeton, and then Silver Black Velvet #4. Those are right there. For paper, I'm using Canson XL watercolor paper. And then for colors, it's my tried and true White Nights by St. Petersburg. So for the purple bits, we're going to be using a combination of the violet, or you could just a combination of violet and carmine, or you could just go for the Quin Lilac, which I think is a very pretty purple. And then for the centers, we're using a combination of the cadmium medium, lemon, and the Titan red. Yes, the Titan red for the outer bits. And then finally for the really shadowy bits, we're using Mars brown. Alright, oh, and for the green, you can either choose to use a chromium oxide, or you can mix your emerald with Mars brown and get like a more muted green, which is very similar to the chromium oxide. So it really depends on what you want to do. Alright, so let's begin. We're ready to begin, and I just want to make a quick comment before we begin, and that is, if you choose to listen extremely carefully to the instructions that I'm giving and just pay attention to the detail in my instructions, you should be doing really well with this. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is get my #4, and I am going to use the #4 brush to get some of my cadmium medium lemon, which is right here on my palette. And once I've gotten it nice and damp and a good consistency, I'm going to go ahead and create an aster right around this area here. And so I want to create this. Actually, what I'm going to do is take the Princeton #6 Filbert, and I'm just dampening it, making sure that it's got good enough water but not too much. And what I'm going to do is just roughly paint a dome shape in here, which is going to represent the center of our floral. And once that dome shape is done, I'm going in and I am adding in dots, or I'm kind of dabbing into this area and getting my color on here. All right, and the reason I'm doing this is so that I have a nice beautiful blend for our yellow bits, or the yellow center. And I want that nice natural loose watercolor look, and that's why I'm doing this water first and then adding the color in. Notice I'm adding a couple of dots just on the outskirts of my my shape here. And then finally, once I'm leaving that white space in the center, so keep note of that as well. I'm getting a little bit of that Titan red I told you about, mixing it on the side. And now we're just going to go and dab that just at the bottom of this area here. Again, kind of going in the outskirts, not trying to really push it into the center too much, just around the bottom mainly, to kind of indicate a little bit of shadow, maybe a little bit at the top over here, top right hand side. And once I've got a good enough amount of this, I'm just going to let it go. And we are going to move on to doing a little bit of the Mars brown. So the Mars brown, just get it directly, again using the #4 is fine. And what I'm going to do is just add a little bit of that here and there at the bottom. Not too much, because once this is dried, we'll go back in and add more. But for now, just a tiny bit so that it kind of blends in with what we have colors that we have here, just to give it a natural blend. And yeah, that's it. So that's that for the center. Now we're ready to go on and create these beautiful purple petals. And for that, we are going to be using the Princeton No. 6. And like I mentioned, you can either use the Quin Lilac or you can use a combination of the violet and carmine, and you can get like a nice purpley color. So again, using the No. 6, blending this in nicely. I'm going to get enough amount of color on this here, and we're going to start doing the bottom petals first. Now if you've watched my Gerbera Daisy video, this is very similar to that. We're just going a lot thinner and we are doing multiples of these. So I'm starting from the outside going in, and I'm going to give it like an arc shape a little bit because it's going to be fanning downward almost. And so I'm going ahead, and what I want to do is sporadically space out these colors, like the consistency colors. Like as I'm going around, just dipping the tip of my brush in water to get like a different color of that purple or a different hue of the purple. And notice I am touching the center. Some of the yellow is going down into the these purpley petals. And notice I'm kind of fluctuating between light and dark, getting a little bit more color here, maybe get some nice darker hues going in here. And you've seen me do my first petal where I'm going from the inside out, and I've just fixed the shape at the bottom. So really your preference is, whatever your preference is, however you want to do these, go ahead and do it. I like to go from the outside in just because this brush has that nice rounded tip already, and so I'm not working too much for the shape, and that is why I do it that way. And then finally we're just going to do a couple of petals kind of fading off in the background here. If you were to do it facing upward like this, it would just be, you're just doing the petals all around. And for these, I'm just going to do a couple of short ones so it looks like it's peeking out from the back. Maybe get a little bit more of that purple, get some variety of color in there. And then I want to fill this up more, so I'm just going to switch my brush off to the side and get some thinner strokes in there. So switching it to the side or turning it to the side, I'm just going to get a couple of strokes in here. Getting a little bit of water on the tip of my brush. Just trying to make this look nice and full and robust. Okay, perfect. Now that that is done, we're going to switch back to the No. 4, and we're going to add a couple of these darker dots in there and just really give it some nice shadow. So reverting back to the No. 4, we're just going to get some of the Mars Brown, making sure it's mixed off to the side, just like that. So you can make sure that it's not too intense, and then you're just going to go in and add the dots again. And you can see now that it's dried up. It didn't dry up super dark, so you don't really see a whole lot of the Mars Brown that you previously put in, but it's kind of faded in there with the color, and it is there. And it gives it a nice tritone kind of look, because then you have created nice elements that kind of help bump up the shadow and light value in your painting. And that's what I like to have in my paintings. I know they're loose, they're quick, but adding 2 tones, 3 tones really does bump up the I was going to say exciting qualities in your painting. I guess it could be exciting, but yes, it just makes it look that much better. And I'm just adding a couple of dots just randomly in the center, just more spaced out than what's at the bottom here. And there we go. We are done that that bit over there. And so now we're moving on to doing the green bits of it. And for that, I am using my Rigger number 2. And like I mentioned earlier, you can either use a combination of the emerald with Mars brown, kind of mixing some emerald over here and adding some Mars brown. Let's see, let's get the Mars brown. And use this kind of green, or you can use the oxide green that is already pre-mixed if you have the White Nights set of 36. I like to mix my colors sometimes, mainly because I really like the oxide and I don't want to overuse it for every single painting and then it dwindles down. Meanwhile, I'm not a huge fan of the emerald, and so if I if I use it and I'm mixing it with other elements, then why not? It really does work, right? Okay, so now we're going to create the stem. And so for the stem, I'm just gonna, first thing I'm gonna do is zoom out so you can see better and get a better view of everything, and then just adjusting the crispness. Okay, here we go. Okay, so for the stem, I've got one this way, so I'm gonna have this one going like this. Whoops. And all the way down. And it doesn't have to be this thin, it could be thick like this. But if you like the thinness this way, the Rigger really does help get some nice thicks and thins. You can just paint it in and get a slightly thicker stem. That's what I am doing here. Just to kind of keep it matching with what I did previously. So painting it in. Perfect. Alright, so now we are going to do a couple of leaves, and the leaves for this are very simple. Just adding a stem here, for instance. I know it's very thin. Let's go over it again. This could actually just be a leaf by itself, not even a stem, since I kind of double did that line there. Let's do a stem protruding. Let's do a leaf actually over here. So getting some color, I'm gonna press down and then trail off. And that's how you get these cute thin long leaves using the Rigger. Very, very simple. If you wanted to do it from outside coming in, that's also easy. Let's do a small one here. So using the tip, you're kind of trailing and then you're pressing down and then kind of going downward into the stem. And you can create these little stems here with extensions of buds and fluff up your painting a bit. So let's just create one over here actually. Why not? Something cute and small. And then here's tiny leaves. Or tinier leaves compared to the big ones that we have on. And yeah, I think this is good. We can do one more here, just so you guys can see me do it again. I want to overpower this area because we got one happening there already. And now we can just create a little bud and then go back in with some green to kind of give it some green at the bottom of the bud, and we're done. So for the bud, I'm reverting back to my Filbert, and I'm just adding 1 stroke, 2 strokes, and I'm going to leave it at that. And then back to the Rigger, getting some of my green, and we are just going to add that green at the bottom just like this. And if it flares off into the purple, that's pretty, I would say leave it. But if there's too much flaring, just take your paper towel, because sometimes you might have too much water. Just take your paper towel and dab lightly, and so you can take off some of the green if you don't want it to be spreading out too much. That's perfect, and there you go. So this is the whole video. Let me know in the comments, guys, what you thought. I showed you more of a side profile because these are pretty simple. You're pretty much doing the same thing all around if you were to have it kind of facing upward. But here's the side one, so now you can fluctuate between doing both of them, and then also add some greenery and add some little buds and whatnot and create your own little composition. So can't wait to see your work. If you like this video, please hit the like button and consider subscribing to my channel. And if you do end up doing this, please do tag me on social media. My Instagram handle is @HelloClariceG, and or on Facebook if you are there, you can just follow me. Links are in the description below. Thanks guys for watching, and we'll chat soon. Bye!